I think so many of us have had this thought. I need a signature fragrance. We want to have this scent that when we walk by a stranger on the street, we leave behind this indescribable, ephemeral, delicious scent that has them turning their head. Or having a scent that when a loved one smells it, they immediately think of you. And maybe all of our clothing is just imbued with it. And it's something that feels like an extension of ourself and really like embodies our essence and our style. So today, I want to talk about my journey for such a scent and how it took me on some turns. I gotta say, I definitely wasted a lot of money along the way, so I hope this saves you guys the long trip to discovering how you can find a fragrance that really works for you. And at the end of the day, most importantly, is something that when you smell it all the time, because you are gonna be smelling it all the time, it's something you love. Now, I have stumbled on a signature fragrance for myself, but that's not to say I don't like to mix up my fragrance sometimes or have a couple fragrances for something like date night or something a little wintry. But I do have a fragrance that is my real number one, and I'll tell you why it took me so long to get there. Because for one thing, I am not a fragrance expert. You can tell me all these top notes, these bottom notes, these middle notes, and I'll understand it. But when I smell the fragrance, I don't always smell every distinct fragrant note. I can tell it feels something. Oh, this smells sweet. Oh, this smells spicy. This smells very floral. I get it. But the complexities of fragrance are sometimes lost on me, which is why I think I might be able to offer you some advice that people who really understand fragrance don't really realize the general population doesn't always quite understand. And honestly, I have been really roped into things like aesthetic packaging and really poetic descriptions and sponsored IG posts. And, right in front of me, I have this box of all kinds of samples, and there's more I can't quite lift up. So I can attest to being roped into things that really intrigued me. Okay, so when I started my fragrance journey, it was definitely a couple years ago as I started to get really into makeup, and I took a chance on a small bottle of Valentino Born in Roma. This is a very popular scent. I've seen massive ads for this scent in the center, and I just really picked it up on a whim. I think it was one of the top rated fragrances on Sephora, and I got one of the little, travel vials. For your reference, this is described as a warm floral, and the keynotes are black currant, jasmine, grandiflorum, and bourbon vanilla. Again, just pick this up on a whim. I didn't particularly like the packaging or anything. It feels a little kind of modern for me or something. And I really liked it. And I remember wearing it out for the first time at a basketball game. And I just felt like a grown woman. And I would say that this sort of started my hunt for what is my perfect fragrance, in that I really felt that transformative nature of it. I love the idea that maybe people will catch a whiff of it and it makes me just feel like I've really put myself together. Anyway, at one point, not long after purchasing said fragrance, it rolled off my desk and smashed all over the ground. And I was like, dang, I don't know whether to spend the money, pick that up again. And I really felt like I wanted something a little bit more mysterious, witchy, maybe more of an indie brand rather than this really popular top seller. So I did start really getting into indie perfumeries, one of which is Fantôme. I have all these little scents from them. If you go on their website, you can tell that they have this really cool aesthetic. They have really unique fragrances. One of the descriptions of one called Baba Yaga, which I have somewhere here, is like cracked bone, leather, a fire in the woods. And I'm like, ooh, I love this. And these fragrances, while I really loved everything they have to offer, the indie brands supporting women, for the most part, I wasn't actually a huge fan of many of the fragrances. They all felt too heady for me, maybe a bit too strange for me. I thought I would love it. That being said, there was one fragrance in particular called Cupola, that I did end up loving, and I have repurchased a couple of their roller balls. They're bigger roller balls. And I do love this one. This is one of my top fragrances. Not my signature scent, but one of my top fragrances. And I'll talk about it more in a moment. But I got roped into more perfumeries because I discovered, these aren't quite doing it for me. I'm not really loving how when I pick up these scents, how it makes me feel. Not feel so much as like, I'll pick up the scent and be like, it's a little odd. Like I'm not like addictively smelling my own wrist. I'm kind of averse to it, I would say. So I did end up spending lots of money on other samples. There's a Canadian brand called Libertine. They've since rebranded. I forget what they're called now, but I have so many of these and I spent money on whole sample sets. You know, when you get from KLE, for example, all these fragrances. Oh, and what else did I get? I got this other Canadian brand called Bar, B-A-R-R-E. And again, very interesting, strange notes. And I kept getting advertised by them. And I want to support indie. I want to support Canadian. But none of these I really loved. I really tried, and I will sometimes experiment with a couple of these fragrances for fun. I have talked about them in some makeup looks, just like something that I feel embodies a makeup look. But when it came to wearing a lot of these scents every day, like still like not much was clicking. While I think samples are a good place to start, potentially, I think there's some caveats to that. I think a better place to start than just kind of going on this whirlwind of fragrance talk and starting to get these advertisements thrown down your throat, because the moment you look up perfume, you will get these advertisements. Rather than being so enamored with the brand image, which was my whole, I would say, to my detriment, that's where I wasted a lot of money, was getting sucked into the whole product itself. I think it's so much more important to start to really pay attention to what scent notes do you find addictive. When you have a candle, maybe it's not your candle, you're in someone's house and it just smells so good and you keep noticing it and thinking about it, or somebody else is wearing a fragrance and you're like, that smells so good, so you ask them what it is. Or maybe it's not even an artificial fragrance but a real one, like cilantro is something that I find addictive to smell. And basil, oh my god, it's like when I like will rub my fingers on it and smell it. Or like bourbon vanilla, like, or baking vanilla, I'll be like, this smells so good. Citrus and orange I love. Or, you know, when you're out in nature, what fragrances do you really love? Like petrichor or something. Just start to notice that first before thinking about brands and aesthetics. As much as I'm an aesthetic gal, I really think it's so much more important to think about what scents you just want to like burrow your face in. For example, a friend of mine was wearing Kilian Love Don't Be Shy, and I was like, stopped in my tracks. What is that you're wearing? Which, for the record, is described as a warm floral. Oh hey, that first fragrance I talked about from Valentino, that was a warm floral. And the keynotes are orange blossom, vanilla, absolute, and luscious marshmallow. So this is a fragrance I do really love. I really like this one for nights out, maybe a date night. Super sweet, and I really love how it smells on me, but it's not something I necessarily want every day. It's a little strong, a little bit, not overpowering, but just strong. So I love this one, and it's in my collection. It's one of my top fragrances, but not yet my signature scent. So along with thinking about fragrances you find addicting and really noting them, maybe even writing them down on a note somewhere on your phone, think about going into stores and sampling before ordering literal samples. And I say that because these little samples add up really quickly, and fragrance is really expensive, even when they're offered in these tiny little vials. So I would sometimes go to Sephora, and if there had been a fragrance calling my name, like Replica by the Fireplace sounded like something I would really love. In terms of its description, it's more autumnal, sounds cozy. I'm like, that sounds like me. I would love it. Smelled it in the store? No. Reminded me of those candles from like Bed Bath & Beyond, or what is it? Bath & Body Works. That's just like really like fall, and it's so sweet. It actually feels sickly sweet to me. I'm sorry if you love that fragrance. I'm sure it's lovely on you, but for me, I was like, no, no, no. I'm so glad I didn't spend money on a little sample of this. So I really think going into a store and getting to try those fragrances is a better first step than just ordering a bunch of samples. I did go to Le Labo, which I find incredibly overpriced brand, but I do really love their kinds of scents I found. I feel like they're not so overpowering. They have just notes that I found I really liked. So I did end up purchasing a few Le Labo samples after smelling them in the store. And as you go about this journey, starting to note the fragrances you're liking, whether it's in a candle, in someone else's fragrance, in a fragrance you try, in real life, whatever it is, you might start to notice more common ground happening. I started to notice my love for vanillas, but not a mall vanilla, as I call it, more like a bourbon vanilla, a baking vanilla as a base note. Like it feels cozy and something I want to like keep smelling if it's on my wrist. And then florals, but not heady florals or florals that I kind of consider like dated. I don't know. For me, there's a certain kind of floral that's a bit sharp or something and heady and gives me a bit of a headache. It's more, that word again, warm florals. So there's like this coziness to them. And citrus I found I loved, like Le Labo de l'Oranger, which is a orange blossom, and something related to citrus families tend to be things that I really like. And then just generally with these scent notes, thinking about how they make you feel. Like fragrances that have citrus in it actually give me this feeling of feeling a bit energized. And I like to put lime essential oil in my vinegar for cleaning the house because I find lime very zesty and invigorating. And then vanilla is very cozy. I mean, that's kind of typical. But then certain florals I found very, maybe a little bit mysterious. And thinking about the perfumes that were strange that I did like, for example, this one from Fantôme that is Cupola. I'm just going to tell you very briefly the description on their website and how you can understand how I kind of got obsessed with this brand, but they describe this scent as Cupola was inspired by the Slavic pagan celebration of summer solstice and the dichotomy of elemental rituals involving water and fire on that day. Taking place on the eve of the shortest night of the year at the height of summer, Cupola was a celebration of nature, fertility, love. The fragrance of Cupola emulates the full day of festivities with notes of cool and wet, juxtaposed against smoky and warm, and a shared heart of rich floral notes. And so the fragrance description is morning dew, davina, fern flower, bonfire smoke, birch leaves, and warm summer air. So there's this thing I've been noticing, warmth. Why does warmth keep getting mentioned? Warm florals. To be honest, I can't exactly tell you what a warm floral is, except that I think it has something to do with how it's less sharp and invigorating and feels a little bit more cozy, almost like on a hot summer night when it's really humid out and you get that scent of a floral on the air. That to me feels like what a warm floral is. So all my favorite fragrances so far on this long journey of spending so much money on samples did have all these common grounds of some vanilla, warm florals, and then I did end up getting the Valentino Born in Roma Extra Dose, which is a bit more of a potent version of that very first fragrance I ever mentioned that I told you I bought, which I really loved. And what do you know? This is the fragrance that has become my signature fragrance. The first fragrance I picked up before this whole long journey. It's almost like I had to experience what it was like with all kinds of different vibes before I realized I'm just a bit of a basic girl at heart, I guess. The witchy, strange fragrances didn't do it for me. It was just something about this particular blend that I just love. And by love, I just mean it's the fragrance that when I put it on my clothing, I put it on my wrist, that I find myself wanting to smell it. And it smells like comfort to me. It smells like me. And sometimes when I have like anxiety or something, I will spray it because it grounds me. And I started to realize that was what it was doing for me. These warm florals, the vanilla, and what was the other note in this one? Black currant. And this one is a little bit more of a more potent version of the original Born in Roma. There's a little bit of rum is a bit of the undertone, so it has a little bit more coziness, I'd say. This one's a little bit lighter, but they're very similar in their scent notes. And it was hilarious, the fact that I just came back to that original scent. And yeah, something about this one in particular just is the fragrance that checks all these boxes for me. And so I went on this long journey, and I want you to take away from this that you don't need to do this overspending and buy a million different samples to get there. It's more about really noting how that fragrance makes you feel. Really, at the end of the day, do you want to bury your nose in the scent? When you close your eyes, what does it make you feel? And don't think of all the rest. Don't think of the brand or the aesthetic. It's really about what works for you, because I don't really like this bottle at all. It doesn't really go with my style, but alas, this is the fragrance that spoke to me. Maybe I could rebottle it. That's a thought. I just say that also that you can avoid getting caught up with all the information out there and the complexities that is just your particular response to scent, because it could be way different than what you think it's gonna be. And at the end of the day, it's really just about the smell itself. And I know, I get it. Like, there's something about the ritual of the packaging and how it fits into your aesthetic. I understand, I get it. But when it comes to the search of what's your signature, you kind of have to put that to the back burner and yeah, consider rebottling it. I think that would be really cool. And back to fragrances being super expensive. There are so many fragrance brands out there duping out really popular fragrances. Like, I have smelled a dupe of Kilian Love Don't Be Shy that smelled exactly the same and was just way cheaper. So I just want to say, consider that. I think I'm going to find some dupes for some of my favorite Le Labo fragrances, because I think that price point is ridiculous and I'm not going to spend that much money for a little bottle. Like, they're in particular wildly expensive. I just don't get it. But I do really like that scent, so I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for a dupe. And yeah, I'm still going to have fun with these fragrance collection that I have here and a couple of my other favorite fragrances I have in my rotation. But I love that I now have this core scent that I love. My husband really likes it as well. And I just feel really elevates me and grounds me. So anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my journey and maybe learned a little bit about yourselves. Definitely let me know your favorite fragrances in the comments down below. Any fragrance brands you've come to love and why. And yeah, that's it for today. Toasty, let's take it away. Thank you as always for watching until the end. What's Toast signature fragrance, you say? Well, it's Cheetos and Fritos. Cheeto paws. If you don't know what I mean, smell a dog's paws. All right, until next time, may you all find yourselves a little bit of fragrance magic, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, witches.